watching Market Cafe on ET Now with me, Shriyansi Singh, and over the next few minutes, I'll take you through news and updates from within the country as well as across the globe, tell you which stocks you should keep on your radar and tell you what the brokerages are saying as well. But first things first, let's take a look at the Chinese markets because we've seen a skyrocketing coming, over 10% gains coming in on its open on Tuesday after coming back from that Golden Week holiday as the rally from Beijing stimulus measures also continued. We do see that continued support. When you take a look at the CSI 300, you're taking a look at a gain of 10.2% on its open. On the other hand, though, Hang Seng Index plummeted over 3%. So not doing all that well when you're talking about Hang Seng. But when you take a look at Shanghai, then a stellar move is what you have on your hands there, uptick of about 7%. Let's also see if we can pull up Shanghai for you because that is where the uptick is. And on your screens, you do see that uptick of 7% coming in for Shanghai as well. Household spending in Japan, though, when we take a look at some other data coming in from Japan, fell 1.9% on a year-on-year basis in August in real terms, and the drop is the fastest pace of decline since January as well. However, real wages also rose in August. When you take a look at Nikkei, you're taking a look at about a 1% decline coming in for Nikkei. Kospi also a tinge of red coming in there as well. Let's also take a look at what Kospi is doing on your screens, 0.8% decline coming in for Kospi as well. So that's the kind of move that you have on your hands, because when you take a look at the Chinese markets, though, you do have a very good handover coming in there and a very good start after that Golden Week holiday for which the Chinese markets were shuttered. Now, of course, back home we closed around the 24,795 mark. And currently what is being penciled in is an open above 24,875. So what you're looking at right now is a positive bias and a very good handover coming in from the Asian markets, at least as far as the Chinese markets are concerned. So let's see how that pans out for us. And speaking of handover, then let's also take a look at what Wall Street then did, because it was a negative day largely coming in for stocks. When you take a look at the Dow, finished nearly 400 points lower, while the S&P 500 as well slid close to 1%. Technology stocks felt the brunt of Monday's declines because you did see them pushing the Nasdaq composite down about 1.2%. So that's the move that you had for Nasdaq as well. In terms of the backdrop that this is against, of course, you do have rising bond yields that put downward pressure on the market, and notably you do have the 10-year Treasury yield that clawed back above 4% to touch its highest level since early August. Now, stocks, of course, in terms of the trend then have been troubled over the last several days, creating a rocky start to the next trading month and quarter as well. Investors have been growing increasingly fearful of escalating conflict in the Middle East. That is something that we've been watching out for very closely because Iran launched a missile attack at Israel early last week, and since then we've seen geopolitical tensions that have been in the spotlight as well. But the market, of course, rallied on Friday after that blockbuster jobs report, propelling the three major indexes to notch their fourth straight positive week. So let's see if we can see a little bit of a clawback later this week, but that largely is the trend that we see emerging for Wall Street. Investors, of course, will be watching out Tuesday for economic data on small businesses and the trade deficit data as well, and they'll also be monitoring speaking engagements that are scheduled throughout the day for central bank leaders, including Boston Federal Reserve President Susan Collins and Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic as well. So those are some of the speeches that we're watching out for. But in terms of what else is happening, of course, you do have oil prices that edged lower in early Asian trading. Let's also take a look at oil because you do have traders booking profits after prices rallied to their highest in over a month amid fears that the Middle East could be on the brink of a region-wide war. Now, of course, we told you about the fighting in the Middle East that is intensified after Iran-backed Hezbollah fired rockets at Israel's third largest city, Haifa as well. And Israel also looks poised to expand its offensive into Lebanon a year after the Hamas attack on Israel that sparked Israel's ongoing war in Gaza as well. When you take a look at price moves coming in for Brent, you're looking at a decline coming in of about 0.3%. $80 a barrel is the kind of levels that you're looking at least when Brent is concerned. And when you take a look at US WTI as well, a fall coming in there as well, just about a 20-cent fall or 0.3% fall coming in for WTI as well. But both contracts, of course, rose over 3% on Monday to hit their highest level since late August, adding to last week's rally that saw them rise by over 8% for the biggest weekly gains in over a year, and keeping an eye on geopolitical tensions, of course, for the reasons that I mentioned above. And other than that, you do have Hurricane Milton in the Gulf Coast in the US as well that we'll be keeping a very close eye on, at least when oil markets are concerned. Moving on, then let's also take a look at gold because gold prices also eased as the US dollar held quite strong, and recent employment data as well prompted investors to scale back expectations of that big rate cut from the Federal Reserve in November. So you do have spot gold that also fell just about 0.4%. Lastly, let's also take a very quick look at the events that we have to watch out for. Now, from the US, you do have trade data. Aside from the data that I mentioned earlier, now in terms of corporate action back home, then you do have Vedanta board that will be mulling and approving fourth interim dividend. That is the one to watch out for. And there's Indian Air Force Day. In terms of other events and J&K, as well as Haryana election results, that will be announced today, and that is the update that we're all watching out very closely for. FOMC members, like I mentioned, will be speaking, and those speeches will also remain in focus. But let's get you some more news and updates then, because Goldman Sachs has lowered its recession odds for the US to just 15%, down from prior estimates. The bank's economists cite September's surprising non-farm payroll surge and a drop in unemployment as key reasons. Now, Chief Economist Jan Hatzius noted that the recession risk is now in line with long-term averages, signaling stronger labor demand and a tighter job market as well. Now, this comes as the Federal Reserve considers its next steps in monetary policy as well. So that's the latest update coming in there as well. But tell you what, let's move on to some macro data coming in from Japan then, because its average cash earnings rose 3% year-on-year in August 2024, slowing from 3.4% in July and missing expectations as well, suggesting that the Bank of Japan may hold off on interest rate hikes. Now, inflation-adjusted wages dipped 0.6%, while overtime pay rose 2.6% as well. Meanwhile, when you take a look at Japan's current account surplus, that surged to a record 3.8 trillion Japanese yen as well, boosted by strong export growth and a widening primary income surplus as well, marking 19 straight months of surplus. So that's the latest update as far as Japan's macro data is concerned. Let's move on to the world of tech then. Electronics giant Samsung has posted worse than expected profit guidance. For the third quarter, the tech giant forecast much higher operating profit than earlier, but it still falls short of analysts' expectations. Analysts warn that falling demand for memory chips, particularly DRAM, could hurt the company. Now, shares of Samsung are down over 20% this year, so those are the kind of moves that you've seen coming in for Samsung. Let's also move on and get some updates coming in from Foxconn then, because Foxconn chairman Young Liu believes that the AI investment boom still has some time to go as large language models continue to evolve. In an interview, Liu noted that AI progress will further drive growth in related servers, a key contributor to Foxconn's success this year. In terms of what else he had to say, he talked about how AI advancements will fuel future industries, with AGI development likely to reach higher intelligence levels in the near future as well. So that's the latest commentary coming in from the top boss at Foxconn as well. Moving on then, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is attempting a government reset less than 100 days into office, following policy missteps and a freebie scandal. Over the weekend, Starmer reshuffled his team, replacing Chief of Staff. With the Labour Party still light on policy, all eyes are now on the upcoming autumn budget, set to outline Starmer's plans for the future as well. So that's the latest update coming in from UK as well. Moving on then, FTX has received court approval for its bankruptcy plan, allowing it to repay 98% of its customers within 60 days, using up to $16.5 billion in recovered assets. Customers are also expected to receive at least 118% of their account value as of November 2022. Now, though hailed as a success, some users are frustrated by missed gains in the crypto market rebound as well. And in other news then, the most prestigious Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded to American scientists Victor Ambros and Gary Ruvkun. Now, the scientists received the award for the discovery of microRNA and its role in gene regulation, and their groundbreaking work explains how cells with identical genes develop into specialized types like muscle and nerve cells. So that's the latest update as far as that prize is concerned. Moving on to some geopolitical updates, then Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzu is on a state visit to India for 4 days. Yesterday, he met with Indian PM Narendra Modi, sounding optimistic about the two nations' relations, and he also shared how he hopes for more Indians to tour the Maldives. A stark U-turn coming in from the previous animosity that was in the spotlight as well. Remember, ties between India and the Maldives came under severe strain since Muizzu known for his pro-China leanings, took charge of the top office in November, and you've seen a little bit of tension coming in since then. The two leaders signed many agreements, and that is the important update coming in from that particular visit. Let's also go across and listen in to a slice of the joint address by both the leaders then.
हमारी नेबरहुड फर्स्ट पॉलिसी और सागर विजन ने मालदीव का महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है इन दोनों में। भारत ने सदैव मालदीव के लिए फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर की भूमिका निभाई है, चाहे मालदीव के लोगों के लिए एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज की जरूरत पूरा करना हो, प्राकृतिक आपदा के समय पीने का पानी उपलब्ध कराना हो, कोविड के समय वैक्सीन देने की बात हो। भारत ने हमेशा अपने पड़ोसी होने के दायित्व को निभाया है और आज हमने आपसी सहयोग को स्ट्रेटेजिक दिशा देने के लिए कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी पार्टनरशिप विजन अपनाया है।
India is a key partner in the socio-economic and infrastructure development of the Maldives and has stood by the Maldives during our times of need. I would like to thank Prime Minister Modi, the government and people of India for the generous assistance and cooperation extended to the Maldives over the years, including the recent budgetary support in form of rollover of the T-bills.
Now a sense of greater realism in Maldives about their own economic situation and their need for India in terms of development assistance. The other is that India has also been mature. Instead of reacting in a huff, when Maldives said, take your army experts who were flying the helicopters that we had given them out of Maldives, we negotiated and we sent other experts. We removed the army personnel and we sent other experts respecting Maldivian sentiment. I think now today Maldives has a serious balance of payments crisis.
All right, so there you go. That's the word coming in from Meera Shankar, who's a former Indian ambassador to the US as well as Germany. And that's the word coming in from her. But it's time for a very quick breather on the show. When we come back, we'll outline what the electoral outcome looks like for us. So don't go anywhere.
Keeping up with the pace of life is not easy. To find the perfect balance, we need to savor the pause. See? It never ends.
Mama must be missing us, nah?
Let's take you on spin, give me one day. Feel the itch under my skin, it's a one day. You believe it when you see me and done, hey. It doesn't matter, just gotta get going. Just gonna wander.
Volkswagen.
40 करोड़ से अधिक तीर्थ यात्री, अत्याधुनिक सिक्योरिटी, कोने कोने में सीसीटीवी कैमरे, विश्व की सबसे बड़ी टेंट सिटी। उत्तर प्रदेश में मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के नेतृत्व में यूपी सरकार विश्व का सबसे बड़ा आध्यात्मिक एवं धार्मिक सम्मेलन महाकुंभ 2025 का आयोजन करने जा रही है। प्रदेश सरकार द्वारा महाकुंभ में सुरक्षा को लेकर पहली बार अंडर वाटर ड्रोन और सोनार लेजर का उपयोग किया जाएगा। संगम और वीआईपी घाट पर 2 फ्लोटिंग रेस्क्यू स्टेशन भी बनाए जाएंगे, जहां प्राथमिक उपचार के साथ दुर्घटना की स्थिति में निपटने के लिए सभी आवश्यक उपकरण होंगे। उत्तर प्रदेश का महाकुंभ 2025 बनेगा भारत की ग्लोबल ब्रांडिंग का माध्यम और देश के वैभव और गौरव का प्रतिबिंब।
Introducing Curve.ev. Book yours today.
Hyderabad, Telangana's capital, is driving a manufacturing revolution, focusing on pharmaceuticals, aerospace and defense technologies. It is now recognized as India's SEZ capital. With a legacy of empowering India's MSMEs, this knowledge series brings together industry experts to share insights to propel India's entrepreneurs onto the global stage. IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Hyderabad Springboard, exclusively on ET Now. Presented by IDFC First Bank, always you first. Associate Partners, Brand Buzz Ventures, Fiana Advisory. An initiative by Times Influence.
No buck, non-stop dhak, non-stop music on Sunrise Hits, रोज सुबह 8 से 10 सिर्फ Zoom पर।
नवरात्रि के 9 दिनों में स्पॉटलाइट में रहने का सीक्रेट बताओ। थोड़ी सी फैशन प्लानिंग, जबरदस्त डांडिया मूव्स और सेनको गोल्ड एंड डायमंड की ज्वेलरी। आप सबको नवरात्रि की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं।
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, before we get to updates from the political landscape and see how that is shaping up in Haryana as well as Jammu and Kashmir, let's also shift focus to primary markets then, because last 2 months were the busiest with a whopping 22 companies raising funds. However, only 4 companies are now trading above their issue price. Let's delve a little deeper into that data set then. Somit is joining in with all of that analysis.
Well, if you see the last 2 months, that is August and September, were one of the busiest when it comes to the primary market. In the month of August, nearly 10 companies raised as much as 17,110 crore rupees, while in the month of September, nearly 12 companies managed to raise close to 11,100 crore rupees on an estimate basis, if you see. Now, of these 22 companies, nearly 20 of them are listed on the exchanges at a premium compared to their issue prices. However, the recent fall in the market that we have seen has taken a toll on all these companies, and of these 20 companies that listed at a premium on the exchanges, only 4 are now trading above their listing price on the listing day that we had seen. And these 4 companies are Diffusion Engineers, Ecos Mobility, Interaj Building and Premier Energies. Now nearly 16 of them are now trading below their issue prices, and the companies that are trading at a highest discount compared to the listing day price and the current market price, if you look at, these are Saraswati Sari, Cross, Sri Tirupati, Toll Tires. Now, 2 notable IPOs in the last couple of months were Ola Electric and Bajaj Housing Finance. Now, both these companies are now trading below their listing day price. Now, Bajaj Housing listed with the highest gains of nearly 136% compared to its issue price, but the stock is now down nearly 18% from its listing price, and one of the biggest reason behind this is the expensive valuations of Bajaj Housing Finance. Apart from that, Ola Electric listed with a gain of nearly 20% on the exchanges, but from its peak of 157.5 rupees that we have seen, the share prices are down nearly now 42%. Now there are multiple reasons behind this fall when it comes to Ola Electric. Firstly is the fact that the company's sales have been falling and also market share has been declining. Sales in the month of September declined for the second consecutive month, while the company has been losing market share for the fifth consecutive month. Apart from that, there have been multiple service quality issues when it comes to Ola Electric. Most service centers are overwhelmed by the service requests and now struggling to provide adequate service quality. Also, the company has received a show cause notice and they have to respond related to these services over the next 15 days. A lot of issues with Ola Electric, and hence the stock is down nearly 42% from its peak of 157 rupees.
Well, absolutely. Thanks, Amit, for outlining all of that for us. But let's keep it going with the primary markets. Then auto component maker Hero Motors has gone ahead and withdrawn its draft red herring prospectus for the proposed 900 crore IPO. Now, the Pankaj Munjal-led company had filed the DRHP in August 2024. Remember, the IPO was intended to consist of a fresh issue of up to 500 crore rupees, while the remaining 400 crore rupees was an offer for sale OFS by promoters OP Munjal Holdings as well as Bhagyodaya Investments and Hero Cycles. Now, Pankaj Munjal is a first cousin of Hero Motocorp's chairman Pawan Munjal, and that's an important update coming in there as well. But that was the update as far as Hero Motors DRHP is concerned. They've withdrawn it. Moving on to the political landscape as promised then. The counting of votes for the Haryana Assembly elections is just about to kick off, and it's gearing up to be quite a showdown. BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, JJP and INLD are all vying for a victory. According to exit polls, Congress seems to be in a strong position with predictions of them possibly snagging over 50 seats as well. Both the BJP and Congress are feeling pretty confident about their chances, though to form a government, a party needs at least 46 seats in this particular state. Some key candidates include the current Chief Minister, Nayab Singh Saini from the BJP. He's running from the Ladwa seat and he has a history of winning, mind you, because when you take a look at the previous notches in his belt, having previously taken Narayangarh in 2014 and Kurukshetra Lok Sabha in 2019 as well. On the other side, former Chief Minister Bhupinder Singh Hooda is also back in the ring, contesting from his traditional seat, Gari Sampla Kiloi as well. While he hasn't officially been named, many see him as a strong contender for the Chief Minister yet again, and all eyes will be on debutant politician though wrestler Vinesh Fogart, who's in the spotlight, who's representing Congress from the Julana seat in Jind district as well. So that's the latest as far as the political landscape in Haryana is concerned. But the stage is also set for the counting of votes in Jammu and Kashmir as well, and this is the first poll that has been held after the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. In the poll of polls, the surveys indicate a close fight with no single largest party or alliance likely to secure a majority. A total of 90 seats are up for grabs, with a coalition requiring 46 seats to form a government in this state as well. Surveys suggest that the Congress-NC alliance is leading in Jammu and Kashmir, with seat projections ranging from 35 to 48 across different polls, but still short of a clear majority. The BJP is predicted to win between 20 to 32 seats. When you take a look at the PDP, that is also expected to win a small share of 4 to 12 seats. In a short while from now, the counting process will begin and the picture will be clearer till afternoon if the Union Territory will have a clear majority for Congress and NC, or the parties will seek a post-poll alliance. So that's the latest update as far as Jammu and Kashmir is also concerned, and we're definitely going to be getting you more updates through the course of the rest of the day as well. But it's time for a very quick breather on the show. When we come back, we'll take a look at some more stock-specific action. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. You're watching Market Cafe on ET Now. And before we get to the list of stocks that you should be keeping on your radar, let's also go across to Anshu standing by with an update on how the futures and options roundup then is shaping up to be like.
Right, so let's start with what FIS did in previous session. We are seeing that they have covered their longs by 45,000 contracts. They have added shorts by around 72,000 contracts, due to which the net position is down by more than 1 lakh contract, due to which the total net position has turned negative from net positive. So currently their net long is around 47%, and 6 sessions back, the time when this decline started, it was around 80%. So they have been cutting their longs and they have been adding their shorts aggressively. At the same time, if we check retail clients position in index future, then they have added around 59,000 long. They have covered 24,000 shorts. So net to net, we are seeing addition of nearly 84,000 contracts. If we check their net long position from 6 sessions back, then it was around 34% and now it is around 57%. So we can say that retail traders are trying to catch the bottom. They are expecting reversal. They are buying on dips here. Now let's talk about Nifty. If you see the chart, the Nifty has been declining from last six sessions, but currently it is trading around that key support level currently right now. But however, we may see some strong resistance around that 50 DMA, which is 25,000. Unless until we don't give a decisive breakout from that level, we may expect some consolidation around this level. Now, if we talk about index options, then index options also we are seeing very strong call writing happening at that very same strike price of 25,000, indicating strong resistance around that level. Now, if we talk about Nifty Bank, then in Nifty Bank, we are seeing that Nifty Bank has actually given a breakdown from its 100 DMA, which is a bit of negative sign here as well, because it was taking very good support historically and currently it has closed below that level. If we see a buyback from that level above that 100 DMA, then we can expect some positivity in the market. Till then, it seems very negative here. Now, if we talk about index futures, then we are seeing short build-up happening and open interest has gone up by around 15-17%, which shows that traders are getting very bearish on Nifty Bank. Now, if we talk about few F&O stocks that are in focus, then we are seeing significant long build-up happening in AU Bank, L&T Finance, L&T Tech and Coforge, where short build-up is happening in Federal Bank, Balrampur Chini and IEX. So keep an eye on the stocks.
Well, absolutely, Ansh. We'll be keeping an eye on all of those counters that you just mentioned, but let's also go across to Ria, who's standing by with the update of the counters that we should keep on our radar bright and early this morning on account of news flow as well.
Yes, good morning. So let's take a look at the stocks that are going to be in focus today. First up, we have MOIL coming up with their September sales and production updates. They've seen the best ever September production at 1.46 lakh tons and their best ever September sales as well at 1.59 lakh tons. They've also carried out exploratory coal drilling of 50,222 meters up to September of 2024, which is 1.4 times the previous year. The management has also commented on these results, saying that they are set to achieve higher levels of production and sales in the coming months as well. So definitely keeping an eye out on MOIL on this front. We also have Mahanagar Gas in focus, since the company has entered into an indicative and non-binding term sheet with International Battery Company Incorporated USA for an investment of rupees 385 crores in the proposed joint venture company for a stake not less than 40% in the proposed JV. We also have Heidelberg Cement in focus, since the company has issued a clarification about the Adani Group eyeing a rupees 10,000 crore buyout, saying that the company is unaware about any such development and they do not comment on market speculations. On this front, Ambuja Cement has also issued a clarification saying that they are not aware of any such development. Lastly, we have BEL in focus, since the company has backed orders worth rupees 500 crores. Now, these major orders received include EMI shelters, EMCs for integrated air command and control system nodes, upgrades and spares for gun systems, and also spares for radars and communication systems. And with these orders, BEL has now accumulated orders totaling rupees 7,689 crores in the current financial year. So definitely keeping an eye out on all these stocks today.
Well, absolutely. We'll definitely be watching out for all of those counters that you just mentioned, Ria. But let's also go across to Gaurav and get an update on which are the counters that are making to brokerage radar bright and early this morning. Gaurav, which are the counters on that list?
Well, yes. Let's begin with power sector, because now Nomura has initiated on Tata Power with a buy and target price of 560 rupees. What they say is that they're expecting 16% CAGR growth in EBITDA in the next 3 years, because what they believe is that the growth will be driven by 2 times increase in the renewable energy capacity. Other than that, they have also initiated on JSW Energy with buy rating and a target price of 885 rupees. Here also they are expecting EBITDA growth of around 38% CAGR with the next 3 years, and they also see 2 times increase in operational capacity and healthy margins for renewable energy segment for the business. Other than that, let's also focus on Skipper, because Nuvama has initiated with buy rating and a target price of 650 rupees on this counter. What they say is that this company actually stands as a big beneficiary when it comes to domestic export and import orders. Their order inflow is expected to grow with 22% CAGR, and EPS can grow at a CAGR of around 50% over the next 3 years. They are also doubling down the capacity, which will help the company to grow further. Other than that, let's also focus on Tata Power, because Tata Motors, my apologies, because UBS has now maintained sell rating operating at a target price of 825 rupees. What they say is that China is no longer a player for market, auto segment market. Other than that, they also believe that the premium car growth will be there, but there will be slowdown in premium car growth, which will affect the JLR segment. And lastly, they also believe that the global car makers need to realize the capacities, rationalize the capacities, and that is the reason why they are being a little pessimistic on Tata Motors. So definitely watching out on all these counters on the back of the brokerage note that we received in the morning.
Alright, then there you go. So that's the list of counters that are on brokerage radar bright and early this morning. But with that, completely out of time on this edition of Market Cafe on ET Now from me, Shreyansi Singh, as well as the entire team that put this show together. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere because the market takes all of the action forward.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.